Hello, and thank you for your time. This Cityworks conference presentation is titled An Asset Management Program Revamp. The City of Danville, Virginia, and Timmons Group, reimagining what's possible through Cityworks. My name is Stuart Frankfurt, and I'm a project manager with Timmons Group. I want to spend some time detailing how a longtime Cityworks client is working to review, to analyze, and ultimately build upon their foundation in Cityworks. So a little bit of background about the City of Danville and Cityworks. The City of Danville has been using Cityworks AMS for over 10 years. Cityworks AMS is part of a true enterprise system for the city, with multiple softwares integrated to it, including See-Click-Fix and Freon for mobile use. There are multiple user groups who are using Cityworks today, including Public Works and Utilities, and multiple user groups slated to join, including Parks and Rec and Community Development. Some understanding of Danville's goals with Cityworks. Danville is looking to make Cityworks a true asset management hub. While Cityworks is not the only software that they use enterprise-wide, they're taking efforts to make it the center of or the connection to as many pieces as possible. They're looking to get the most out of their Cityworks capabilities. And in order to do that, they need consistent usage of the system to get reliable data. That reliable data can be used and optimized for things like tracking KPIs or key performance indicators, creating dashboards, and then getting into analytics, that next step of asset management. So the collaboration between Timmons Group and Danville. In the fall of 2019, the City of Danville and Timmons Group began work on an asset management roadmap project. Now, the goal of a roadmap project with Timmons Group and any organization is to meet with that organization to understand their current processes, to understand their utilization of the technology, and then use business analysis to provide recommendations on how they can best move forward with technology. In order to do that, what's important for us to understand are those asset management objectives. In our minds, there are really two types of asset management objectives. There are top-down objectives and bottom-up objectives. You see here in this illustration, those objectives kind of come together to form that strategic plan. And what we mean by the top-down objectives, those are the ones that come from the overarching organization. Speaking with the group leaders who are charged with the management of the organization's missions, policies, priorities, as well as the folks who understand those state and federal regulations. And by bottom-up objectives, what we really mean there are those things that come from the staff who use Cityworks on a day-to-day basis. The end users who really have insight into the capabilities and sometimes limitations of the Cityworks implementation. What we at Timmons Group want to do is learn the pros, the cons, the likes and the dislikes from all of these people to put together a strategic plan that really is organization-wide. This diagram here just kind of shows there are a number of different pieces or steps involved with understanding those initiatives. You see here with the top-down initiatives, we need to understand the goals for that Cityworks software utilization. We also need to understand the requirements or the data needs from the organization, speaking with those top-down organizational leaders. And in order to understand those bottom-up initiatives, we spoke with all of the end users who are using Cityworks. we actually gave them an anonymous online survey so that we could objectively learn from them about how they're using Cityworks today, the things that they like about the Cityworks system, and the things that they think could be improved upon with the Cityworks system. And any roadmap project, what we at Timmons Group want to keep in mind is the process of change management. We're working with the organization as a whole, and in order to effectively guide an organization, they need to be aware of the change management process. Really important that the organization enables a user group who can really understand the need for change. They can, they have the tools to collaborate and understand the best way to bring about change for their organization, so that they can ultimately generate wins for the organization and really alter the culture around their asset management enterprise system. This diagram here just kind of shows that we feel change management is a cyclical process. It's not something that stops. It's something that really any good organization will be revisiting on a continual basis, understanding their organization's needs in order to game plan both short-term and long-term. So as part of the roadmap initiative and the roadmap project between the City of Danville and Timmons Group, there were a number of different outcomes or initiatives that we proposed. You'll see them listed here. Things like an upgrade to the Cityworks versioning, a redevelopment of existing integrations to the Cityworks system, an audit of their existing configuration in Cityworks, the identification and maybe remapping of some workflows for user groups, an evaluation of their GIS data that's being consumed by Cityworks, the implementation of Cityworks for new user groups, as well as training for all user groups in Cityworks, and then eventually the development of dashboards. Once you're getting that reliable data out of the system, all user groups are utilizing Cityworks in a similar way. Project planning at this stage is really important, right? We've given the city a lot of different potential projects for that next phase work. So what we really need to do is to work with the organization to map those out in a way that they can be effectively completed and efficiently completed. No organization can take on all of these objectives, these initiatives at one time. It's a lot of items. It's a lot of different user groups. Bringing all those people together is going to be really difficult. So what's important for a project manager like myself, as well as the organizational leaders at the City of Danville, was to kind of map out and understand that a lot of these items could be done in parallel. In our minds, some of these items, like the upgrade to the Cityworks version, the implementation of Cityworks for some new user groups, and the integration redevelopment, these are all objectives or initiatives that could be done in tandem as part of a single project. But we do also understand that some of these projects will probably be most effectively done in more of a waterfall manner. Those things like configuration audit of existing user groups, workflow evaluation, redevelopment, Cityworks training. For that proposed work, we think it would be most effective to work with each existing user group specifically, so that we're providing them targeted, effective work, so that they're getting the most out of their project work with us moving forward. So a little bit of information about that Cityworks implementation for the new user groups coming up. The community development group is getting folded into Cityworks as the city's moving away from their existing permitting software to Cityworks PLL. The City of Danville has been using CityView since about 2010, but in 2020, the City of Danville actually partially funded a Cityworks PLL implementation through CARES Act funds. Now, in addition to just implementing Cityworks PLL, the City of Danville and Timmons Group are working to implement Hyland OnBas electronic plan review, as well as the custom TG or Timmons Group public portal. That public portal will be an online application process for citizens and contractors to apply for permits. And this process is going to be done in tandem with that upgrade to Cityworks versioning, so that when Cityworks PLL goes live, they're going live with a new effective version of Cityworks. Now, part of the implementation of PLL, it's more than just a migration to a new software. In our minds, it's a chance to sit down with the community development group to really review and optimize their workflows and to bring together work processes. This is the first opportunity that the City of Danville has had to really seamlessly tie their AMS user groups with their PLL user groups. So this is one example here. There are workflows or tasks where the AMS system will be directly talking to the PLL system. In addition, the plan review software, Hyland OnBas, is going to be implemented that will tie directly into PLL. Now, a little bit more information about that process. Again, that TG public portal, Cityworks PLL, and Hyland OnBas. As I mentioned, it's an opportunity for citizens or contractors to directly apply for permits and applications online. That TG public portal, it eliminates the need for in-person permit applications where they aren't needed. The process is seamlessly connected, allowing a user or contractor to upload plan sets and documents through the OnBas plan review software. Once the permit or application has been applied for, the user is able to seamlessly kind of work their way through the permitting process. They're able to pay fees online. They're able to schedule inspections online. They're able to view the permit's workflow in real time, as well as either post comments themselves or see comments come back from the city. This graphic here is from the TG public portal. This is, again, just an example of how a user can log on and they can apply for an inspection directly. They can select things like a date and a time. They can provide their information and schedule that inspection. That inspection schedule will get sent directly into Cityworks PLL for processing, and then ultimately, that inspection scheduling process. So part of this next level work or next phase work is that integration redevelopment. The City of Danville is currently using Cityworks version 2014 in their production environment. So part of the upgrade to to a new Cityworks version will enable them to leverage API level integrations wherever possible. We think this can be a process that can lead to an enhanced product enterprise-wide, not just to the Cityworks product, but to the other softwares that may be tied to Cityworks. There are integrations that already exist based around customer information, employee wages, material, and warehouse information. Now, all of these integrations will get redone or reviewed to make sure that they're optimized for that new Cityworks version. At the end of the day, asset management is really what Timmons Group is most interested in, and making sure that the City of Danville is striving towards. There's a quote here how the ISO 55000 defines asset management. And what I think kind of best encapsulates that is, it's bringing multiple groups and multiple systems together with a consistent organizational strategy in order to truly transform. So a little bit of a summary about Timmons Group and Danville's revamp work. The foundation of that work was built out with the roadmap, which was initially planned for in 2019. So this is really a multi-year program where we're going into multiple projects with long-term goals in mind. The goal of that roadmap was really to map out targetable projects in order to make real change and enhancements to their asset management system. While the work has begun and it's been in process for some time now, there's more work to be done in order to kind of build off the momentum from that organizational-wide buy-in. And really, what we think is one of the coolest aspects of it is that Cityworks is at the center of it all, right? This Cityworks asset management software is able to bring together so many different user groups in a number of different ways in order to really, truly get a strong enterprise-wide system. So that's my presentation for today. This is a little bit of information about myself. Again, my name's Stuart Frankfurt. I'm a project manager with Timmons Group. We've been working with the City of Danville, led by Inez Rodenberg, the Chief Information Officer. Our information is seen here. If you'd like more information, please reach out and have a great rest of your day.